All right, in this video, I'm going to show you how to set up workflows. And so, under this new menu, if you still have a menu that looks different from this, it'll be under workflows. But for the new menu, it's under automation. And then under workflows here, and you'll be able to see that we actually have quite a few pre built sequences that you can use. But for this instance, I'm just going to go into our appointment reminder and confirmation workflow. So when you create these, if you've ever used something like Zapier, or if you haven't, I'll explain how it works. So up here at the top, we can actually trigger the rest of these actions to happen from a number of different items. So what that means, for instance, this one is set up. We chose a workflow trigger of an appointment. And then when appointment status is confirmed, um, then it will trigger this event. Now we can add a number of different triggers to this. We can also say if it has a tag, if the the contact has a certain tag, or if they are in a certain calendar, then we can trigger a different workflow for different people, and that's how we can segment our automation. And so, for instance, when someone books an appointment, it's going to create an opportunity, which is basically a pipeline stage. It's going to send an internal notification, and you can customize all of this. And then the way that it's set up here is we have a confirmation email go out to the user. Then 24 hours before the appointment, they get a reminder. And then 1 hour before the appointment, they get another reminder. So in order to add or adjust or edit any of these, in order to edit them, you just click into any one of these already pre-built ones, and then you can edit the messaging in here. And you can also utilize custom values. So you can say the contact's name, address, birth date, and then any other information that you may have gathered from them. And then as well, you can talk about the appointment time, date, cancellation link, what calendar name they booked into. Um, you can also put your address, your phone number, the time that you have right now, and then also you can put in any other kind of information that you might have a custom value for. Now, if you want to do a different task, you don't want to just send an email, maybe you want to send an SMS. So, what you would do is you go ahead and press play right here, and then you have this whole selection of different actions that can be taken based based around what you want to happen. So, I'm not going to go through each and every one of these right now, but you can. I'll just go over a few fun ones that you can send an SMS. You can send a voicemail drop to the contact. You can add a contact. You can add someone into a pipeline or opportunity. You can add a note to them. Send internal notification. That's also very useful. Also, you can remove them from a certain workflow. So let's say that someone opted in for a freebie or something like that. Then you can remove them from that workflow. If the goal of the workflow was to get them onto an appointment, we can just remove them from that because we know that they booked an appointment. If you're utilizing Facebook ads or Google ads, you can actually add people to your custom audience, and you can fire off different um, different conversion events based in here. And then you can have conditional workflows. So if this is true, keep going. If it's not, stop or send a different message. Wait is basically wait until the next step. And then go to is if you want to create something that's kind of recurring, then you can basically have it go to a previous step or a different step inside of the workflow. So those are just a couple basic actions that you can do in here. I'll also point your attention to the settings. In settings, you can set up what time this workflow would activate. So if you have a newsletter, maybe you don't want to send out at all times. You only want to send out the following Monday, for instance. Allow multiple. It's basically if a contact comes through this workflow, do you want them to be able to come through the workflow a second time or a third time or a fourth time? If they respond to one of your messages, then do you want it to stop the rest of the workflow? You can turn that on here. And then as well, this is depreciated, so we don't need to cover that. Inside of the history, you'll be able to see what people went through what actions, And then you'll also be able to see where people are at in the workflow right here. And then you can always hit save, and you'll want to make sure you switch this to published if you're ready to start booking appointments and sending people through your workflows. So that's just one example of a workflow. We have a number of them built out already, and you can always build one from scratch by hitting create workflow. And then you can go ahead and start from scratch. We also have a few others that you can set up and that are mostly set up for you. And then you can go ahead and hit create new workflow if you would like. And that is the overview of workflows.